So normally, when you will be when you'll use CPAT, you will simply select the different activities that we have in a session. You will put them into the session, how many blocks you want, the different activities, etc., etc. But in certain occasions, which should be rare, you might want to change something specifically for a specific block. For instance, let's say that you decide that you would like to move the particular student to a lower level of difficulty. Maybe they've already worked with the system, they've improved, they went up the levels of difficulty, but you decide that this is too much for them and you would rather that they'll move to a lower level of difficulty. The system usually will do that automatically because it will identify that this specific student is struggling at the new level, so it will move back to the previous level automatically. But again, maybe for some reason you would like to do that yourself. So the way to do it is in that during that window of the new session, when you create a new session, you can select a specific block. In this case, I'm selecting the first search block, and I then press the configure button here. That allows me to select myself the level of difficulty I want to use for the specific block and for the specific student. In this case, it was the level was level 1, so that's why I see here. If you were on level 15, for instance, when you open that configure button, then it will show us the right level. The other thing that you will see here is what block type you are on at the moment. You remember we have 3 block types: correct only, baseline, and regular. So importantly, if I decide to, let's say I was in level 15 and now I decide to move to level 5, then I just need to make sure that the correct only button is also selected. Okay, again, it could have been the case that I was on level 15, maybe I was on a regular block, and now I wanted to change it back to level 5. So I should also change the correct only as well. So whenever we start a new level of difficulty, we want to make sure that we start with a correct only block. Okay. Again, this is quite rare that you will need to do it yourself. But if you, for some reason, feel that it's absolutely necessary for you to do that, then you can do it through this configure. Press OK, and now this block will be with the new configuration, and you can start moving on to the session itself. One thing to note is that if you, for some reason, try to change another block of the same activity to a different configuration, then that won't work. It will use the first one, the first configuration that you've given, and will continue from that. So it doesn't matter if I now change the second block here of search to a different configuration. What will happen, it will be just the block that comes after the first block. So whatever configuration I use for the first block, that will be used when the system decides about the second block. Okay, so don't be surprised that this didn't change. So that is how to configure a block manually.